So you want to build yourself an infinite channel IR desktop receiver. Let's get started. Depending on the version you're building, you're only going to need 2 or 3 components. For the basic model, all you're going to need to get yourself is an Arduino Micro as well as one of these handy HX-M121 IR receiver modules. And what you're going to want to do is just connect your data pin to pin 9 on your Arduino Micro, and then just ground and toss in 3.3 volts to your desktop receiver. And that's all you need for the basic model. I know it's very complicated. Somebody give me a Nobel Peace Prize. For the upgraded version, where we added an OLED display so we can see what button is being pressed when we press something, and then, yeah, it's basically the same exact circuit, except we add in the OLED display on pins 2 and 3. Yeah, that's basically it. So that's the circuitry behind the basic and the version 2 models of the infinite channel desktop IR receivers. If you want the 3D case I have printed for these, I can share the file for them. It'll be down in the description below. But let's jump right into the code. So I wasn't really feeling the case on the first version, so I just went ahead and wrapped it in as much duct tape as possible. So now it just has that nicer aesthetic. And oh crap, I accidentally covered up the damn. Yeah, if you're gonna wrap it in duct tape, just make sure you leave the serial port open. Also, we need to be able to touch the IR receiver that's inside, so leave holes for both of those. So I accidentally made a mistake. If you're gonna connect an I2C display on your version 2, make sure to connect SDA to D2 and SCL to D3. You can see that right here. Here's what they look like after I duct tape them. Great, so we have either our version 1 or our version 2, which are essentially the same thing, but our version 2 has an OLED screen, whereas the version 1 doesn't. To get started with the code, you're just going to want to come over to this GitHub URL. It's going to be pasted in the description below, and you're just going to go ahead and copy the code that's in this repository by downloading the zip. Once you do that, you should get a download in the top right, and you can open that and extract all the files inside and open your selected version. So at the top left, you'll be able to select your board and your port that you want to upload to. Unfortunately, this has to be an Arduino Micro or Arduino Leonardo, anything that supports USB interfacing. But once you go ahead and have all that, you can go ahead and upload, and it should start uploading to your board. So I'll meet you when that's completed. Great, so now your code uploaded. Grab yourself any IR remote and you're going to want to start testing it. Come on over to your IR desktop receiver and you should start being able to point random numbers at it, and it will print out what the code is for that IR signal. So it's a matter of you grabbing these IRs. Oh, see, it already worked. I pressed one of the keys that opens up command prompt. Task manager, excuse me. But yeah, so just mess around with it, grab the appropriate codes that you want. You can have hundreds of these if you really wanted, and I'll be working on a version 3 where we could possibly have infinite of these, because we'll be using one of those SD adapters for the Arduino Micro. Yeah, this really works for any IR remote, any. So go ahead and have some fun playing with some IR remotes. Here's a quick little montage. Random ones. Yes, even this behemoth will work. I just don't have any batteries for it right now. Any IR remote, I'm serious. Great, so you have a list of all the hex values that you want to keep and all their appropriate positionings on every remote. And yeah, I got a little carried away and I made a lot of these. So I have a lot of hex values. Anyways, start putting them into your switch statement, just like this. Be sure to take a look at the 7 helper functions at the bottom and the documentation which is within the GitHub repository on how you can use these. Here's an example here. The props that we pass into the helper functions are what gets printed out. So for example, in print string, it takes in a prop and we're going to print out that string that we go into the props. For example, hello from button 1. So this means when we call this hex value, we're going to print string, pass in these props. So it just makes our code look way cleaner and a lot more storage friendly. So we could have hundreds, I don't know, thousands, but a lot more hex values than we normally could with such a low memory device like the Arduino Micro. I'll also note, if you're using the version 2, this is using the SSD 1306 ASCII library. This is just so it's a bit more storage friendly and you have a bit more space than if you were using the standard SSD 1306 library. Alright, here's a demo of it. We're going to try and open up Google. So we'll press it and it's going to open up Google for us, just like that. Woo! So yeah, that's everything. It was pure blood, sweat, and tears. I cut my finger pretty bad trying to cut the electrical tape for this. So be sure to subscribe, guys. Let me know if you guys want to see more projects like this, of course. I'll be trying to post more videos just to really get myself out there for my startup. And yeah, it was fun making this, a really useful project. And let me know if you cloned it, made a better version, and you would like to share it. Hey, Leumas.